This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Frank Smith here in person once again. But Frank, we've caught up a bit in person over the pandemic, so you're probably the only one who I can't say for a long time with.
Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, have you enjoyed it? Has it been all right?
I've enjoyed it, it's been great.
No, you've always been a constant in my pandemic life, which is something I didn't ever think I'd be so happy about.
I'm glad somebody's happy about that, Frank. Obviously, we're here now, Joshua Usyk fight week. How big of a test is this for Anthony Joshua? And before we do come on to that news that was shared earlier, what would it mean for him to overcome Oleksandr? You know, where would this win rank in amongst the rest of his victories as a heavyweight?
You know, I think he doesn't really get enough credit for his resume to date. You know, I think he's got the toughest resume out there of any present-day heavyweight. But I think he comes through this fight against Oleksandr Usyk on Saturday night. You know, you can't question what Oleksandr Usyk has done for the sport. Undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, and you know, he's in the pound-for-pound top 10. AJ deserves to be in there. He should be in there already, but you know, this fight will solidify it, and it will solidify him, I believe, as the number one heavyweight in boxing.
You mentioned you don't think he gets enough credit for his resume. One thing Tyson Fury said is he feels that AJ has fought people when they're not necessarily at their best, and he hasn't competed with them. What are your thoughts on those kind of comments?
I just think in heavyweight boxing, it's, you know, like you look at this roundabout of what we're in, like he fought Alexander Povetkin 2018. Then so what was he saying? He's not in his peak. Then Alexander Povetkin goes in against Dillian Whyte, stops him. Dillian Whyte then goes in and stops Alex. So it's a roundabout, isn't it, of these top heavyweights? But you know, I think it's just Tyson questioning everything else. You look at his resume, I don't think it compares to AJ's personally. That's a great thing about it. It's an opinion, isn't it?
Frank, with this fight, obviously, just to touch on the workout today, didn't really get much out of either of them. But on AJ's part, he's in the ring for a couple of minutes, a little shadow box. What did you take away from it?
I've got to be honest, I said to someone I was running around. I missed it completely, as I do with most things. So, but you know, these things are more turn up, a few bits for the camera. They're never going to show everything you want to see. But you know, I know from seeing AJ in camp how much the work he's put in. He's ready to go.
Last time we saw AJ do pads, it was before the first Ruiz fight. The second Ruiz fight in Saudi, he's just doing some shadow sparring off the top of my head, didn't really do any pads. Is this kind of something that he's wary of, maybe giving a little bit too much away from?
I haven't got a clue, to be honest. Maybe it's just how he feels on that individual day. You know, his key is going there on the night and do the job. You know, all these things around it, everything, one day might be different, the next day might be different, but the key is getting there on the night and always perform and entertain.
And of course, as we mentioned earlier, some big news for Matchroom and for yourselves. He agreed a long-term promotional deal. Just your thoughts on securing the services of a unified world heavyweight champion?
Yeah, look, it's amazing to see someone in his position in the sport to join up as he's done here, but it just shows the loyalty that he's shown throughout his career. He's a great person and someone I've got to know a lot over the years and have a lot of respect for and what he's done for the sport. But you know, it's a big day for us and big moment, and very happy, really happy with where we are. And I always believed it would come to this. You know, we've had a great partnership over the last 8 years, and now to be with him for the remainder, it's exciting. Because who can you speak about present day, past tense at that level who has stayed with someone from day one? And I think it's testament to our relationship that we both got, the work we've both done. You know, no one works harder than him. He's put the effort in. He's done a lot of the work, and at the same time he respects the work we put in and trusts us with the work we do. So yeah, great day, very exciting, and lots to look forward to with it.
As I say, you know, and as you're talking about there, you've secured his promotional side of things. When do you think we might hear an announcement on the broadcast, the network side of things for Anthony Joshua?
I think the key focus is obviously this fight on Saturday night. You know, there's a lot of talk about broadcasters, etc., where things are going to go. Saturday night, live on Sky Sports Box Office in the UK, live on DAZN around the world. AJ's sole focus, get in there, do the job against Oleksandr Usyk. All of the rest can follow, you know, ultimately. And let's see, you know, we'll see how things play out. Obviously, Sky, he's been with them since day one. DAZN, everyone knows we've got a new partnership with them, but that's next week, next month, you know, that's something for tomorrow. Now we got the focus on this fight, and that's what he's doing.
You did mention there's a lot of talk about broadcasters. I'm sure you know what I'm going to bring up. We saw the reports earlier that DAZN seem to be on the verge of buying BT Sport. Just want to get your take on those reports.
Yeah, I can't really talk on behalf of DAZN and what they're doing. We have a great partnership with them, but I can't go into any detail of what they may be doing because it's not my business. I don't work for DAZN, so I can't be a spokesperson for them. But interesting times in the sport as a whole when you look at the people who are already in the market. So let's we'll wait and see. I'm waiting with bated breath if that is true.
Purewal, new company on the block, as it were. Richard Schaefer's actually come out and said he's began to build that relationship with yourselves, Matchroom. Talk to me about that. What kind of relationship have you guys begun to build?
Yeah, they promote some fighters. I've read from their releases where they're looking to work on over 100 events in their first year. So they're going to be working with a number of different promoters, and that's good for the sport because it's about making the best fights, not just about making in-house. It's not just about making fights that make sense necessarily for one broadcast or this, that, the other. They're going to be working with everyone, and that's good. So it's exciting, and again, more people in the sport is good. More competition is good, and it's good for the sport as a whole.
More competition is good. I just wanted to get your thoughts then on, obviously last weekend we saw Evander Holyfield lose to Vitor Belfort with that first round stoppage defeat. A sad defeat to see from a ring legend. What's your thoughts on it? And of course, those kind of events we've seen Triller promote and what seem to be they will continue to do so.
Yeah, look, I didn't actually watch it myself. I think Eddie said the other day, if you're Holyfield and you get offered a load of money, I don't know how much money he's got, but I can understand why he might take it. But ultimately, it has to be it has to lie with either the people putting the event on or the people sanctioning the event. So look, I don't think it's very good. I don't think it was very good. I didn't watch it, but I saw a lot of comments about it. But they're doing their thing, aren't they? Triller are doing their thing, and I'm not sure how long it will carry on. But let's see. We're focusing on our business. Again, like I say, competition is great because it just pushes us on to keep building and taking it to that next level. So good luck to everyone.
Now, I've been running around, so I haven't seen it myself, but I was interviewing Dean White and he said that Triller have made an offer for Jake Paul to face Vitor Belfort for $30 million. Just get your take on that, if that is deemed to be true.
I saw that that was in the post-fight interview.
So I didn't see that from there.
I saw a clip on social media. I don't. The whole Jake Paul thing, I kind of think if Jake Paul takes it seriously and wants to fight boxers and go down this route, fair play to him. Why shouldn't he have the opportunity to do it? It's no different to me or you saying, I want to take up boxing this week. But he's probably better than I am. But I think in this sense, it's a bit it's not a real boxing career if he goes and fights Vitor Belfort, is it? So, but again, another thing, does it even happen? I don't think so.
Final thing, Frank, we also saw Otto Wallin versus Dillian White versus Otto Wallin, rather, announced earlier this week. Where did that fight come from? Because it wasn't the name which people had expected to be announced.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it would be Chris Arreola. It's a great fight. Otto Wallin, who his sole loss came against Tyson Fury in really a close fight. It wasn't a foregone conclusion for Tyson on that night. So it just shows as well that basically the balls Dillian's got, because he's never shies away from any challenge. Even at his stage where many people would take an easy fight, an easy fight here, just waiting for that big one to come. He always wants to challenge himself. So fair play, great fight, just around the corner from where we're standing now. Tickets on sale tomorrow, don't miss it.
And Alan Babic versus Lucas Brown has been announced for that undercard. As I said to Eddie, he's coming for some criticism simply because of Lucas's recent performances. Obviously, he's getting stopped in one round last time out, and Alan Babic has become a bit of a knockout artist. Granted, he hasn't faced any tough opposition yet, but why this fight?
I think Lucas Brown's got the experience, hasn't he? And Alan Babic, who you said there, maybe hasn't faced some of the biggest names, obviously in the stage of his career he's at. It's a test for it. Lucas taking a Lucas Brown fight is going to be a test for him. Some people may not agree with that, but the experience that Lucas has had, Alan's not a big heavyweight, as we all know. But I think it's a good fight. And again, it's opinion, isn't it, that make this sport so great.
Frank, we'll leave it there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
See you, mate.